Sasha might be me and you. But he's adjusting somebody. Ghost.
George being here, not being here.
Welcome everybody. Dr. Kevin Drino. We are live with the doctors here at Synergy Solutions every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time. We are international. We go live and we have a conversation about the human body, holistic lifestyle, holistic living, basically. And then we also go into what's called a remote healing, where we use, we're all doctors, holistic doctors of chiropractic, and we also study different forms of healing. And well, we have tapped into the ability to work remotely, and we put it together in a program where, because there's more forces, more energy working at the same time, but there's a way to communicate back and forth, and we, just like an orchestra, are being guided to deliver the appropriate care at the right time, at the right place for you, even though we're in a group setting. In fact, it has a greater impact. And you can see the entire story of Synergy Solutions right there on the website that is included in the description, synergysolutionsessions.com. You can see that scrolling at the bottom. Let's say hello to all the doctors. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're on the world. It's almost...
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes.
And the ghost of Dr. George will be roaming back in a minute. I think he's working on somebody at the moment.
Okay.
But here, I got started with Dr. George on the call, and he's in a total festive mood. He has all kinds of food out for people coming in and out, and they're having a little celebration in his office. And it really reminded me about how a shift on the inside can change how you see how you're experiencing your entire world. I was just getting on the call with him, raised my own personal vibration. And I was like, you know what? It's a good reminder that we have the ability within to create a shift, and then the day changes. You ever had, Adrian, Vesna, Sasha? This is not our typical conversation about chiropractic or things like that. However, what have you noticed in some of your patients, or even in your own self? Is that a reality? Do you have a story about how a small shift can change the whole day and how it goes? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can say something, Kevin.
Please.
Yeah, it was a few days ago now. It might even been the end of last week. I just had someone who was a bit grumpy, and I just passed a compliment. It was a genuine compliment,
Mm-hmm.
and their whole attitude changed
Exactly.
in an instant.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And it was a simple compliment. It wasn't anything big, you know. And it was sincere.
No, there's a
Anyway, that's my little story.
there's a famous quote that comes to mind, and it's this: "You never know how far-reaching something you think, say, or do will have an impact on the lives of millions." I guess I'm paraphrasing a bit. Adrian, you're nodding. You've heard that before?
Yeah, from BJ, right?
That's right, BJ Palmer.
Yeah.
That's right. And so it speaks to your point, Sasha, that there's little things that we can do, whether it's a compliment, a word, an affirmation, something, or just maybe even a caring look at an individual, that can have a huge shift on someone's life. And there's direct connection between the nervous system, the immune system, the endocrine system. And this is I'm reading a book right now called The Molecules of Emotion, Candace Pert. And it goes into the discovery of how all these systems intertwine and really are one system. And so right now the immune system is very prevalent. The immune system is very prevalent in the conversation. And I want to share an article that I came across. I'll bring it up for the audience at home. It's from the Center of Biofield Sciences. And here's the article here. And it has to do with a technique called body talk. However, the technique is not the most important piece here. For me, the important piece is that this distance healing is known to work and have a positive outcome. And I'm just scrolling through. In fact, let me show the doctors real quick what is going on here. That way we're all on the same page. And here's the journal article. And I'll drop this link into the group, Synergy Solutions group. And it has a nice little layout of what was done, and you can zoom in on each of the pages, and it goes into the conclusions with the graphs that demonstrate, yes, there is a positive change different than the group that had no therapy done to them. So I'm just scrolling through it, not going into detail. I'll show one of the charts here. Pull it up. Right there, this one right here. And so what it says basically, and it's hard to see because I don't have a big zoom in here. See if I can change that for the audience at home. Nope, that won't make that happen. It's a special kind of PDF. Anyway, with that being said, we have known change. They tested a couple different groups of people with this therapy, and there was a change in the biofield. And for those that are unfamiliar, the biofield has more commonly known terms like the chakra and the aura. This institute, the HeartMath Institute, has demonstrated a field of energy, the toroidal field, around the human body, around the human heart. There's these non-physical forces around us. Vesna, Adrian, Sasha, what comes to mind when you start hearing those terms, biofield, chakra, aura? How does that affect the physical body? Any thoughts on that?
Well, how I explained why do we have a energetical body or a biofield is like taking water, but it has 3 different states, or even 4. So you're following the book, but anyway. So it has ice, would be the solid, so it would be our bones. Then we have the liquid state, which is all the fluids, organs, and then we have the gas, and that will be the biofield for me. And that's how I explain it.
That's perhaps the best, simplest explanation I've ever heard. Continue, please.
So yeah, this biofield is we don't see it, we don't maybe we don't feel it, even we're not conscious of it, but yeah, we're surrounded by air, but we don't see it, we don't feel it. But yeah, we breathe 12 times per minute, per average. So there is something.
So that being said, there is an integration between these layers of what it is to be human, and the biofield is something that is gaining notoriety, though it's been part of our reality since the beginning. So it's very interesting as we start to learn that there is predictable and reliable assistance using forms of healing that we're incorporating here.
And for me,
Vesna,
it's not a
yeah,
separation. There is no separation. Like
right.
what you said on different systems, it's one.
It is one, and the conversation of different systems is, I think, just for the analytical study of a topic.
Mm.
That's it. And we have to. I invite everyone to keep in mind that there is this full integration all the time. It is one, and so very well pointed out. Thank you, Adrian. Excellent. Vesna, Sasha, anything you want to add to that? What comes to mind for you? What do you share with people in your practice?
Yeah, well, that's what came to my mind as well. It's one, not separable. Couldn't exist without one. Couldn't exist without the other.
That's a great way of putting it. One could not exist without the other. Because the challenge I find, I guess the challenge I'm going to assume that I see is that people want to maintain the separateness of a different body part and a different system or a different part of life. When you say it this way, yes, we cannot exist without the other. Now, I probably could cut off my fingertip and be all right. However, there's a point, there's a purpose there that will lead to something else down the road that doesn't have function. You start to look at different parts of the energetic anatomy, in my opinion. That's a great perspective. Sasha, anything else you want to add, or you want to shift gears and move on forward?
Well, perception is all different, and some people are open to that, and some people are not, and both are fine because it exists whether we're open to it or not. It exists anyway in an abstract form, so it doesn't matter whether we believe in it. That was my thought, really.
That's very important as well. Sometimes I had a conversation a couple weeks ago at an event where someone didn't like me using the term chakra. There was a lot of connotation in that word for whatever the reason is. And nonetheless, it exists. It's measurable. It is irrespective of one's opinion. It exists there. And so there's something that we have to be open to as a human being. Be open to looking at information. So that being said, where I want to shift the conversation is we have this field around us, and it's interacting with things around us. And where I started our call today, George had, unbeknownst to himself, just lifted my spirits in so many wonderful ways. And so it encouraged me to remind, maybe enlighten people and remind people our personal environment. We really are creating our reality with our environment. So it's like, make it fun, make it nice, turn on some music, what soothes you, what stimulates you, what is engaging for you, and put that in your environment. Surround yourself with those things. I know I've been growing some different plants and growing more and more of them as I propagate, and it's bringing more life into where I live, and that's enjoyable for me. Dr. George, hello.
Hi.
George.
Hi.
Hello.
Dr. Deb says
Welcome back.
All right.
Festive color.
Say again, Vesna.
I said festive color. Nice red.
Nice reds.
Wearing red.
Thank you. You should see the pants. Check these babies out.
All the style and pizzazz there. There we go.
Party day. Yeah.
So George is
That's the
enjoying
only
the Christmas spirit here and celebrating with everyone who comes to his practice. It's great.
That's right.
So I want to wish everyone happy holidays where they are, and let's shift gears. We're going to be moving into where we actually do the work, where we do the adjusting, where we do the distance healing, and we're going to let this one roll to all the channels that it's going out to. And whether you're on my personal page or on my business page or one of the private member groups that this is being shared with, I want to say thank you for tuning in and watching, and comment if you got some interest, you want to add something, ask a question, even share an intention. Maybe you have a request for a loved one. You go ahead and have the chat up. I should be able to see that. That being said, what we do here is we each have a what's called a placeholder, and mine got there it is. Got it right there. And this is called the surrogate. And the surrogate is the placeholder for all the intention, for all the energy, for all the people that connect. ones that are open, ones that are unknowingly needing help, that want help, who have asked for help. This is where the forces that tie us all together for each of us is contained in the Sarah-Kit. And so with that, we are guided to where to input the stimulus, the adjustment, the attunement, if you would. And then, like creating beautiful music, we help everybody get into tune, and then that allows life to live in a better way. Let's see. George, what would you like to add to that? Talk about what we're doing here. Talk about your intention for today. You know, what would you like to add?
I got a question this morning about if we're adjusting so many people and they all have different subluxations and different disorders, like how does that work? And I guess the short answer is magic, but it's basically we can put input anywhere in the body with the intention of helping the body to become whole. And as John Demartini would say, it's not about the technique. It's about, about the intention. It's about creating an energy field that lifts them up just a little bit. That's where healing is coming from.
Yeah, I want to add more. It's like it's like a receiver. It's like the energy comes in, the individual that's requesting help, that's aligned with help, is getting it, and then taking that power and using it to whatever is needed for that wisdom. There's forces that are operating regarding healing that are just, if I cut my fingers, literally hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of cells doing things in an automated fashion. George, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I said to her, let's imagine that the ceiling needs repair. I need new carpets, the window's broken, and all I have to do is open the door. That's the adjustment, and then the workers come in and do the work. So we're just creating an opening for their innate intelligence to show up more fully in the body. And so we have our own way of seeing it and our own way of doing it, but the effect is the same.
Adrian Vesna, you want to add?
Said perfectly.
It's perfectly wonderful.
Yeah, I love the metaphor of the door and opening the door. So actually it's very simple. Mm-hmm. Simply who we are, our presence, are that lift up the energy, and then the setup, not only us, but the setup, the whole setup. They come here for health, improving their health, not only to reduce the symptom, and then that brings them to higher state of consciousness, higher state of health, or of mindset, etc. Well, connection with themselves.
You're exactly right. The symptom in where the position I'm standing with here is that it's the alert. It needs attention, and different ways of looking at how health is, what health is. The pain is not necessarily the problem. It is the indicator, and the symptom, the illness, the expression that is diagnosable is itself just the cry for help. It's the clues. And so that as we bring awareness into the situation, there's going to be physical things to become aware of. There's energetic, there's emotional, there's nutritional, there's chemical, and in the different depths and discoveries of that. And opening the door allows, and that can occur in different ways, but it just allows that body to express itself in function and form. And that means living better quality of life, doing the things that you want to do when you want to do it. I could say it that way. Mm-hmm. Wonderful, and thank you, Sasha. And let's go ahead. So we're gonna talk a little bit about intention. Adrian, I'll start with you, and we'll go around the horn. Anything specific? Any requests from patients? Any requests for yourself? Maybe just as a collective, what may be wise to consider for today?
To enjoy holidays, and however they are set up of this strange year, and to enjoy it nonetheless. It'll be my request and intention.
Right on. Thank you for that, Sasha. What would you like to add for today?
I'll just do my usual trick.
Keep it.
Hope I get it right this time. I got it wrong earlier.
Well, what Sasha's referring to, for anyone new watching, is that as the ones providing, being the clear conduit, being the open channel, so to speak, being in the authentic place of what it is to be doctor, to be healer, to be the one who is facilitating, providing the leverage so that the door could be opened. Thank you, Sasha. It's so important to keep that intention and just be reminded of that we are simply doing the work that is guided. Vesna.
For me, the focus is to be present myself, to facilitate the best way that I can to deliver whatever is needed.
Thank you very much. Dr. George, thoughts for you today? Insights?
Two things popped in my head at once. They're really the same. The first is to increase order in the people, and his will be done. It's kind of the same thing.
So that reminds me that life is unfolding perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And just like nature in the seasons, doesn't necessarily, I've assigned in the past, well, the trees must not be happy when the leaves fall off. Well, that may not be true. It's part of the perfection in the cycle. So wherever we are in this world, in this time, in this space, in this dimension, I am thankful to be here now to help anyone who's requesting or wanting this. We're going to be delivering that. And in light of the time of the year and what we do, it's time for reflection and celebration and making the best of our personal environment. So whatever you can do to do that, by all means, I'm thankful that you can do that. So let's go ahead and begin, everybody. This is where at home, put your feet on the ground, take a deep breath in and out. Just, if I may say, just focus on the love. And we're going to help deliver that. Right. Now let's begin. So for those of you at home, we are using a biofeedback technique, neurologic biofeedback technique, primarily called KST, as well as some other things that we've individually trained upon. Just remember to take a nice deep breath in and out. George, you still good? Vesna, Sasha?
Still have a minute or two.
Yeah, please. I'm still getting, we're going still, so by all means. Hey George and Vesna, and Sasha, would you check in again one more time?
Sorry?
Yeah,
Uh,
just
check in again one more time? Like an OD?
In
yeah.
OD?
Yeah, I didn't. I checked in right before you said that and didn't see anything else. I thought maybe I should check in again.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this place where when I was checking, it was like a processing. I'm like, when am I done? No, I'm processing. Something's processing. Meaning to me, there was Adrian was still working, though. I guess when I'm taking it, and now as someone who's participating, and this is for each of us, if I'm getting processing, that then I'm interpreting now there's something for me to do in a moment somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was waiting for that moment. So I kept checking each of the doctors. George, I checked you, and I checked Vesna. Something, each of you had something. Adrian, I checked you in the middle of what you were doing. Something you needed.
But it may
Thank you.
process, Kevin, beyond this session. I've had that happen.
Yeah, and Adrian, I wanted to ask this question of like, what have you studied any form of like qigong or tai chi, martial arts, meditation, different form? I'm sure different forms of meditation. I'm sure. Have you done those things?
Yeah.
I'm wondering. This is me theorizing. Do certain we'll just call it health cultivation practices, do they allow the body to or the senses that we're using here to extend into farther and farther places?
Yeah. It's not the goal, and the more connection we have with our bodies, with the subtleties, then the more connection, the easier it is for us to sense what is outside, what is from others, what is from the environment. So yeah, and that allows us to, and those practices allow us to detox and release the tensions. So with that, also the sensitivity increases.
Yes. Yeah.
The healthy sensitivity, not the.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, there's something that needs to be distinguished there. I also consider those different layers of ability to sense may come with it healing as well. If there's been some injury or insult into that layer of learning to become aware of that. You know, what's a good analogy? It's like, what's the everyday analogy? I think about people that have been blinded. They have better hearing, or better smell. Other senses start having a greater ability to detect in more subtle ways. Go ahead, George.
I got another idea. As we move towards wholeness, as we become more whole, our senses, our experiences of what else is should get sharper. Because ultimately, when everybody is completely whole, we're back to the oneness again. And isn't that ultimately what the adjustments and all healing is about? It's about getting back to being whole.
Well, organization.
So our senses would improve because that's what's normal.
And I've come across quite a bit of information, and this is some everyday things. There's more. This might be a shocker for some people. There's more than 5 senses. We have of course, the big 5, sight, division, the smell, taste, touch, hearing. But there's other senses just besides those 5, and some people will be able to categorize more than 50, more than 55, I think even. And so the different things as we become more in tune with them. And this is where I think the detoxification, Adrian, is very important. And on a lot of levels nowadays, technology. I like having a detox technology day, I think. Oh my goodness. Well, Vesna, I'm going to shift gears. Let's talk about what you noticed, what you found today. And I'm glad we had a little laugh after that, because that was a bit of a different session. I felt there was very expansive things, but also there was some seriousness there. But nonetheless, that was me. Vesna, what did you notice today? What did you work on?
What started with C7 and something else on the spine, and then diaphragm and the ribs. So that was the main focus today. And then I thought I was finished. Then when you said check again, and then C2 came up.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you for following through with that. I appreciate that. And it's these moments where the system continues to adapt. And I joke sometimes with a certain group of patients. I'll joke where I could go home with you and adjust, every hour and just tune in on something. It's like, well, how much time does it take before we're back to our environment and something that we're used to doing causes the breakdown again? How resilient are we? And it has to do with our emotional state. It has to do with the energetics around us, the external forces as well as those internal forces. But thank you for checking in again. And let's see, Dr. Adrian, what did you find today? What did you end up working on?
It was pretty particular in a way. I found like I had the sensation of that tingling in my hand that was pretty more intense than usual. It felt like the back. If I visualize always the group as one body, like you were a surrogate, and it felt like was completely like a scared cat. Like the back is humped, and it was kind of a lot of tension. Just release that tension, and then the lever came up, and then what I never did on the distance healing is the aluminum detoxification. So that's what took so long. Actually, it's on the technique I learned. The protocol is actually with a vial to pass from the spinal cord and then four limbs to check for weaknesses. So I would like to advise people that are listening, drink a lot of water, make sure you're still in contact with your body, make sure you eat grounding food like red meat. If you're vegan, vegetarian, eat an egg, maybe. Protein, water, electrolytes, so that you can help ease the detoxing process.
Very.
Otherwise, it might be it might be even kind of chaotic mood swings. Digestion issues.
Okay.
Muscle tension, fever. It can be pretty intense. I trust that it was what was needed, but it can be pretty intense.
However,
detoxification on that level.
Well, thank you for detoxification, purification. That's one of the healing responses the body has, and facilitating that. And so, with being said, what I hear your practical advice is, facilitate detoxification today.
Yeah,
and
not only today, but for a few next days.
Okay,
and,
a few couple days. Very good.
Yeah.
And
next week. And if one last advice would be, if you feel can you on extreme level, but I prefer to say it, and then if it doesn't come, perfect. And you feel depressed, you feel even suicidal thoughts, on the extreme level of detox, that can happen. Make sure you're surrounded with people, even if it's simply a call, that you have a family member that is always available.
Right on.
To talk.
Right on.
To listen.
Well, it speaks to the effects of cleansing the body. The body goes through different mood states based on things going in and out of it. I'm going to reflect. I've been talking about this book all week. Back to Monkey's Emotion. They basically prove that these different process the body goes through can change a mood. Very important. Thank you, Adrian. I'm going to be up my water intake for sure. And Vesna, you added something there. The volume didn't allow you to speak. So what did you want to add there?
You mentioned grounding food and detox this time of the year. So what about our cakes and wine this time of the year?
Just continue to add that water. Every glass of wine.
You said eggnog, right? Eggnog?
You said egg, right? Yep, I have a little eggnog there.
That's good.
Okay, Sasha, what did you find today?
I actually had a very quick session.
Mm.
I got it was almost identical to last week. It was a Reiki symbol that connects us back to Earth,
Yeah.
and that was all that was wanted.
Yeah.
It processed very quickly. I think there's a lot of stuff out there about this year's been very surrealistic for most of us. It's almost like it's not happening, but it is, and we just accept that whatever is happening.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Not-
we're
no,
so
not
we're all
worry
caught up
about
in
it.
we're all caught up in our thoughts and grounding. I mean, that's
Or
how you.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, is this really planet Earth?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, Dr. George, what did you find today?
Yes. Well, first thing was the heart. Spun that up again. Atlas from the anterior aspect of it, and it said like hit it as hard as you can, like bring that atlas back.
Mm.
And then the 4 hollow organs: the gallbladder, appendix, large intestine, small intestine, right lateral ventricle, bladder. All these hollow things for expansion again. And the morphogenic field on the right side needed a bump. Morphogenic field is sort of like the innate intelligence. It's the intelligent energy field that causes the form to have shape. So that was kind of interesting.
Very nice. Well, thank you for that. When it came to my work, I was 2 cranials on the right. Then I was in this place of just nothing to do, and I found it was a question I was asking. I asked the question was what I was missing, and I found something that was off. It was, I guess the only way I could say it, as far as the scale of my model here, it was 2.5 times off the side of it, above it, and just needed to swipe away, as I would imagine a morphogenic field, just something above it, above that upper connection. Just needed to be moved away to the side, and all this fluid, all this started to open up, and Adrian got into his work at that point, and I was in this place of, there's something for me to do, but it wasn't time for me to do it. And then finally, it was just, my hands were really in this far out place away from where the body was. And so it just felt like new territory to me. I don't have a word to describe what it is. It just felt like in boating, like fishing vessels, they have these the mast that goes up and the beam that goes across, but there's also anchors that go into water there to add stability as they're going back and forth. So it was like I was anchoring out wider and preventing too much turbulence in the main vessel. It goes with, to me, it goes with Sasha's grounding, but there's also this expansive time that we're in, this expansive territory. I'm into looking at time in different ways and looking at the planets as a clock, and based on that's basically astrology for people that I want to get some of that connotation out of the way, but it talks about repeating time and cycles of time, just like a month and a year and a decade. There's different times of things, and based on some of the people I like to watch, we are in new territory that no human alive today has been has seen these alignments and these energies as they are. So it just seems like a lot of what we did today was interesting and profound, and we need to purify. And when I hear about Adrian and his work with the aluminum there, I've recently become acutely aware that every substance known to life has a specific vibrational pattern. And so Adrian, at this distance level, and we're shifting that energetic pattern, that frequency. And I think those metals are excessively prevalent in our society, and they're known pollutants to the body. I'll just end it with that. How about that? Well, that being said, I am excited that we've made it another year. We're still breathing. We're having some holidays coming up. Everyone's going to celebrate with some friends and family, hopefully. And at a minimum, connect with somebody. Reach out. And that's so important. It is time to connect more than ever. Thank you, Adrian, for that advice. And then anybody at home, we definitely ran a little long today, so thank you for tuning in, being a participant. We had some fun. We had some conversation. We had some really profound adjustments today. So drink that water, enjoy, and then drink some more water. Ground yourself, and find that right food that fits your style. Blessings, best regards, everybody. I'm Dr. Kevin. This has been the KST Synergy Solutions crew, and we are signing off for this week. I will be here next Wednesday, 12 noon, as usual. Whether you guys are not, that's okay. I did it last year. We're going to do it again. Blessings and best regards, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a good Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Kevin Drina, and this is the first introductory video in becoming your own healer.